Hey guys, it's Graham. What's cracking? Normally, I wouldn't post two videos in a day. I did finish reading The Big Sheep by Rob Cruzy earlier this morning. The reason I'm double posting on this one instead of just making it tomorrow's video is it's kind of time sensitive because I'm also plugging Rob's Kickstarter and there's only about a week left. So I didn't want to let any grass grow under my feet on that one. I've covered a couple of Rob's books before. His best trilogy by far is his Mammon series, and I strongly believe that in the remaining years of his career, say that he writes for another 20 years, that may remain as his magnum opus. But the stuff that he writes has been consistently entertaining. I think there are only one or two series of his where I read the first one and I don't think I worried all that much about the second one. I was just like, okay, that was fine, but I'm not like energized to read the rest of the series. And that's definitely an anomaly. Like I've read all of the Mercury books. I've probably read half the the Rex Nihilo books because the other half weren't on audio. And like now it's been a while. I would have to go back and reread them, blah, blah, blah. The book that I read today, The Big Sheep, it's actually, this book is almost 10 years old. But this is one of those books that is really indicative of Rob's ability to mesh a bunch of aesthetics and genres and stuff together. And like he gets the blending of it down pat. Like you could read a sci-fi noir and you could tell which parts of it were really sci-fi and which parts of it were really noir. Like the blending doesn't happen all that well. There was a Mike Kupri novel. The title is escaping me, but it was like a space opera noir, and it worked because the excuse was like, well, while we're colonizing, we're going to do low tech on these new colony planets, and so it was in space and there were rockets and stuff, but because they were keeping costs down, it was like 1930s era technology for the most part. And that allowed him to do the noir aesthetic while also setting it on a newly terraformed planet. Like, that's fine. It worked for what he was doing. But at the conceptual level in this book, The Big Sheep by Rob Cruzy, you can tell that he's writing a Sherlock Holmes style mystery. He's writing a cyberpunk story. He's writing a crazy high concept sci-fi idea. He's putting a little bit of humor in it, but like he's doing all of this stuff and he's making the story move at speed. And man, like he just nails the blending, and that's a hard thing to get right. And when you see it done well, it's worth recommending. So it's told from the story. It's told from the perspective of a guy named Blake Fowler. He's kind of like the Watson to the Sherlock Holmes in this story. The Sherlock in this case is a guy named Erasmus Keene, and it's set kind of in a cyberpunk post-governmental economic collapse in Los Angeles. And like the year is escaping me. I just know that it's everything's kind of computerized and digital and so on and so forth. Fowler and Keene get hired by this famous actress to do a job, and then when they go and report back to her a short time later, she has no memory at all of ever having contacted them and denies doing it. It's not just like I refuse to pay you guys or whatever. It's like I don't even know what you guys are talking about. And this sets off a chain reaction, a series of events that it's like a sweater unraveling. As they pull on it, they realize there is something massively, bigly huge going on. And I will abstain from saying anything else because even the Amazon description of the book doesn't give away what it is. And I want you to have that process of discovery. This is kind of what I call my Batman Begins rule. Because in 2005, I saw Batman Begins without having seen a single trailer for it. I just knew that it was a Batman movie, and I saw the names of the cast members. I thought, okay, that was it. I didn't see 2 seconds of the Batmobile driving around, or Scarecrow doing his thing, or didn't hear any lines of dialogue. I just went into it completely cold turkey, and the experience was so much the richer for it. This is one of those where if you're tired of Sherlock Holmes stories, don't worry. It's it's got shades of Sherlock to it, but it's not aping Sherlock. Probably the most similar aspect is that Blake Fowler is the straight man assistant, and Erasmus Keene is kind of the eccentric lead, and the story is first person from Fowler's perspective. But other than that, it's not sitting there trying to wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Here's a deer stalker cap and a pipe or whatever. Like it's just a PI and his assistant, and they're trying to solve a case, and this is where the high sci-fi concept comes in. Once you realize why it is that their client doesn't recognize them, and other clues start to stack up, and they put it together, and they're like, "Oh crap! Like something massively huge is going on." It's like it's sci-fi, it's high tech, it's corporate sleazeball crap. Like it's all of that stuff meshed into one. And again, like we go back to the blending. Rob is really, really talented at taking things that are seemingly disparate and blending them very smoothly for the stories that he tells. So even with this being one of his older offerings, you can see that he's had that talent for a while. I believe there's a trilogy of these, and so I'll read the other ones. Because it's one of his older ones, he put it up on Audible with virtual voice doing the narrating. Now, I'm in my third year of having Speechify and using it to make poor man's audiobooks of my Kindle library, effectively. And you can tell Amazon kind of wants to put the kibosh on that. They don't want people buying the cheap Kindle book for $2 or $3 and then converting it and playing it through Speechify. They're making it basically impossible to download those files off platform. And it was already very difficult to convert AZW, especially if it had DRM enabled on it. Like you can't just convert that with Calibre anymore. Blah blah blah. It's hard to make. It's hard to make poor man's audiobooks with text to speech stuff outside of the Amazon ecosystem, but they are at the same time making it possible for authors to, at a low cost of entry, turn their books into audiobooks, and the narration tech is getting better. I'm not the hugest fan of it, just because I like voice actors being able to work. At the same time, being an indie author, I understand that upfront cost is an inhibitor, and with that inhibitor limiting your reach in a particular format, that being audiobooks, I understand authors that don't want to do it. I understand authors that do it. It is what it is. The narration, the AI voices are getting better. One thing they really get hung up on, though, is it was like proper nouns. They would offer up different pronunciations of names and places and stuff. I noticed in this book, even regular words, it would put 2 or 3 different pronunciations on it. A limo would also be a limo, like in the same paragraph. It was weird. But anyway, check out The Big Sheep. Just really, really entertaining. Content warning for language. There was up to and including the F -- bomb. But I thought this was really well done. As for the Kickstarter that Rob has going, like I said, there are 7 days left. His base goal was 10,000. It's at 17,000 right now. I backed it for... I can't remember like the name of the tier, but basically it's going to be a 5-book series, and I paid pretty much in advance for all 5 paperbacks with the shipping and stuff. With crowdfunding, you're paying a premium price for this stuff, and it can often be a crapshoot or a gamble if it's on a creator that you've never bought from before. But this is like the 3rd or 4th project of Rob's that I've backed. And like I said, I've read probably 80% of the series that he has out there. And he's got a tremendous mind and a tremendous talent that makes his work very easy to enjoy. This series is called Ransom's Law. It sounds from the description like kind of a comfortable halfway point between the hard science of his Mammon trilogy and the the comedy adventure beats of his Rex Nielo series. So we'll see how that all comes together. But that's kind of his model. Like once a year, he'll do a crowdfunding thing, and then like that's just how he pays for himself to write for the next couple of months, and then get the books fulfilled, and they go out. Geez, I think he also did his what's that series? Codex Babylon series that way. And I think I backed them in 22, and then I got them in 23, and then they came out last year on Audible, so I just paid for them on Audible as well. Like I know I'm going to be reliably entertained. My wife is reading those paperbacks right now. That's another really good series. Anyway, check the link in the description for Rob's Kickstarter, and you'll also find an affiliate link for the Big Sheep if you want to try that one out. I'll get a small commission if you use it. But yeah, another one that I haven't tried from this author that I consistently enjoy, and he's been this talented for years. So check out Rob Cruzy. Until next time, drive safe. See you out there.